Okay, I'm going to do a real quick video on how I make the rifle grips for the ARs. What I normally do is, I have an 80% lower, and on that I have my A2 stock. Probably 80% of the guys that use the rifle grip are putting them on skeleton stocks, and it looks kind of awkward where you've got this grip on there with this big gap in the back. So what I'm doing is making this video so you guys could design your own grip, and if you do make it, I could post it on my website so you could sell them. But to make a long story short, what I'll do is I'll take a stock pistol grip, I'll cut off the front portion that has the holes in it for the anchor and the safety, and I'll bolt that back down to the lower. Now, you're only going to see about that much of it when you cut it down. So I'll take some screws and I'll put them inside the piece that's still there, and I'll start taking auto body plastic, auto body called Bondo, I call it body plastic. It's with the resin in it. You mix that up and you start building up layers on top of the remaining piece that you have. Of course, you're going to take your stock, you're going to put some tape on here to protect it so the plastic doesn't stick to it. Alright, you keep building it up until you get the shape you want. And once you get the shape you want, this is my master pour copy. Once you get the shape you want to sand it nice and smooth, and you want to make one critical area is you want to make sure that that hole that goes through the main hole, that's got to be plugged, because if that hole is intact when you pour the silicone mold, it's going to go through it and you'll never be able to get the grip out of the mold. So I use a pencil eraser. I just pop it in there and keep it as thin as possible, and then as far as the hole for the safety spring, I fill it in with wax. I just leave a slight indent so I'll be able to locate the proper area to drill later. Another thing you need to do before you put the grip in there, do the casting, is you got to put a funnel on it so that as this sits in the framework, this will be the pour spout for the grip itself. Some of the things you could do on the grip is you could put I use this like skateboard tape or auto body tape, has adhesive on the back. You can cut it out, you can glue it right to your grip before casting, and it'll give you your traction when the grip is poured. Get it as smooth as possible, because every little imperfection will show up in the molding process. Now, I painted mine white because if you don't paint it white and you lay it down, you're going to get it mixed up with the cast product when you're done. So this white one is my master. I know I can separate that from the rest of them. Another thing you need to do is on the very top, you're going to have to drill a small hole that you're going to use to suspend the grip like this when it's in the mold itself. And what that's going to do is going to give it a lot of room for the silicone to encase the grip itself. Alright, the container is going to look like this. You look at the bottom, you can see the suspension stud that goes in there. The grip is going to sit on there, and that spur is going to be just above, that pour spout is going to be just above the level. And the grip will be suspended in there. Alright, this has to be sealed, because if you don't, your silicone is going to run out the bottom. Okay, so what you'll do is you take your silicone. I use this product right here. It's some specialty resin. It's Cast-A-Mold Model 25T. It's a 1:10 ratio. You have to mix it up. You got about an hour to work with it, so you don't have to really rush on it, but mix it good. But one of the tricks is, after you get it mixed, is take that silicone mix and hold it high above your container and let a thin stream come out. What that'll do, it'll break up all the bubbles on the way down, because you're going to get bubbles in there if you don't. Alright, so once that is full, you're going to let it sit overnight, and you're going to take the screws out, get your mold out of here, and you're going to come out with something that looks like this with your master inside. The master will still be inside of this. Here's the critical part. What you want to do is you want to cut this mold open. Now, this is a poor example because I didn't cut real good on this one, but you want to get a zigzag pattern like a sawtooth cut into it, so that when you're ready for casting, the mold will basically lock together. This pattern here, this is an actual pattern on one of my grips, one of my molds. There's a grip sitting in here right now. I poured it a couple days ago. So with that, like I said, you're going to take your scalpel, you're going to cut that open very carefully. You're going to spread it. And you're going to pull this grip out. Okay, once you pull your master out, you're ready to start the molding process. So you're going to basically hold it shut, and what I did is you take the mold and make a wooden framework to hold it in with a slight little rubber band on the top. That just compresses the mold. Not really compress, just hold it straight, because as that resin starts to heat up, it's going to push a little bit, so that'll keep it straight. So you take your resin, again from Specialty Resin products, well, specialtyresin.com. I use this Color Pro Black, and it's a 50-50 mix, so it's 50% resin, 50% hardener. And I found in my cases, I use these cheap plastic cups, and there's lines on the bottom. I fill them right up to that second line. Take the cups and take the resin and the hardener, move back and forth, back and forth. When I feel the cups get warm, I know it's time to pour. And what I'll do is I'll pour them right inside the top of this mold here. Again, let it come up to the top, let it go in a thin line, push the bubbles out. I might even take it upside down with my thumb, just give it a little burp right there, and you let the grip sit. Okay, so the next, after about 3 hours, you can take the grip, open it up. What you're going to have is you're going to peel this open, and your first prototype's going to come out. Alright, after the first prototype comes out, you're going to have to cut off the funnel, the funnel we made in the back for the pour. And you're going to take a 17/64 drill, you just push it right through here. It's going to open up the anchor hole. I made this little tool right here. If you look at it, it's a drill bit with a stopper on it. And what I do is I put that in the drill, and I just drill in that little dimple we had, and it'll stop at a certain point so you can't go down too far. Then I'll clean up the hole with this chase drill bit. I do it by hand. Then you basically sand your grip down the way to get imperfections out of it. And like I said before, I like to use this Rust-Oleum truck lid binder. It works pretty darn good for putting a matte finish on it. So basically, that's about it. It's gonna, set you back a couple $100 to get set up. Another thing that's handy is I use one of these inexpensive digital scales for weighing the mixture. Make sure I get a 50-50 or 10-to-1 ratio. That works pretty good. They're cheap. They're only about $15-20 on eBay. And basically, that is about it. One little thing, for an example, there's so many tricks you can go out there to comply with the law. Like these 30-round magazines, what I do is I take this 20-gauge steel and I shape this band, and basically it locks right inside the magazine. You pull the base plate off, this goes in and locks, and you see there's already a pre-hole drilled, a hole already drilled in the bottom. You push it down, you put the bottom plate back on, you rivet it. It takes this magazine, converts it down, locks it down to a 5-round mag. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with these ARs. And like I said, if you guys are successful making a grip, let me know. I'll post your link up on this webpage so the other guys can get copies from you. Alright, take care, guys.